Hello, ninth grade, and welcome to your ninth grade class meeting. If you remember last year, if you were a member of our community in eighth grade, we got you the first day of school, put you in the auditorium, and Ms. Johnson, Mr. McAnaspey, and I shared with you the important things for this new school year. This year, we had to open with a different focus. We had to get you settled into our hybrid model, make sure you were good remote and in person, and understand the important rules and practices we needed to follow in order to be a learning community together. All right? But now we do want to go back to some of those things. And remember, as ninth graders, you are now, maybe starting your official high school transcript and starting a lot of the things that a traditional high schooler may be experiencing in other buildings. But remember, for many of you, this is not your first time around Hudson High School. We are expecting a year of growth. We are expecting a year of maturity, and we hope you continue to stay active in our community. And Mr. McAnaspey here is going to speak more to that.
Hello, ninth grade class. For those of you that may not know me, I'm Mr. McAnaspey. I am your assistant principal. I just want to reiterate a few things that I said to you last year at our class meeting. Like, we want you to get involved here at Hudson High. We want you to be part of our community. We want you to get involved in the clubs, activities, athletics, things that make you want to help come to school. Another thing that we want to let you know is that you have invested in us. You are coming here as a ninth grader, and we in turn will invest in you. Right? If you need something from us, whether it's a teacher, an administrator, a guidance counselor, please come ask a question, and we want to help you have a successful 4 years here at Hudson High School. I'm looking forward to working with you over this school year. Thank you.
Okay, Hudson High. Mr. McAnaspey, Mr. Goldberg, and I are going to be going through a lot of the content that is the same for all of you grades 8 through 12. We're going to be talking a little bit about our expectations right now under our hybrid model. We're going to talk about our Hawks Care Community Code, what attendance is going to look like for this year, whether you're in person or virtual, and then we're going to give you the same overview of the handbook that if you remember from your class meetings and previously as we would have done. Finally, for grades 8 through 11, you're going to see a short video from your school counselors. In grade 12, you already had a senior parent and information night, so a lot of the content that was covered there was available then and continues to be available on the school website. All right, so Hudson High. Everything that we're doing this year is going to be grounded in our Hawks Care Community Code. This is the document that was shared with you, A block, that very first day. And what that document does is outlines our specific expectations, how we're treating one another, how we're living, and how we're behaving in what is a very unorthodox school year. Now, I want you to remember that last year in the classroom and in the community, we engage in multiple conversations on perseverance and what it means to persevere both inside and outside the classroom. So that conversation on perseverance is going to be very important because that's going to lead to our commitment this year as a community for our collective safety and our education. And as I addressed on the PA system a few weeks ago, perseverance is going to be vital. Because as the months carry on and the weeks carry on, the need to socially distance, the need to wear our masks, the need to to follow our protocols, that's going to become harder and harder, right? If you read the news and listen to news, a lot of people are talking about pandemic fatigue. Yes, we want to get out and we want to be able to go to concerts, go to sporting events, and do all these things that before the spring we were able to do without question on a day-to-day basis. But we're going to have to persevere. And as we do so, I want you to remember these principles. Be caring with one another. All right? That's in the classroom, that's in your Google Meets, that's in the hallways. Remember that all of us are experiencing this pandemic differently. Some of us may have lost family members. Some of us may have strong opinions about whether and how we should be behaving during this time. But when participating as a member of the Hudson High School community, the Hawks Community Code shines to the forefront. So be self-aware, be caring, be patient with one another. Know the protocols. And by and large, you all have been doing a great job with that so far. The mask, the hallways, the bus, lunch protocols, etc. We all share in this accountability if we want to be able to learn in person throughout the school year. All right. Let's talk about attendance now. All right. Even before the pandemic set in, Hudson High School was working on a new attendance policy because there are parts of it that just weren't working. So I'm going to talk first about what the changes to that attendance policy what the changes to the attendance policy are, and then I'm going to talk about how we're already needing to adjust some of those things as a result of COVID. So the first main thing about the Hudson High School attendance policy that is gone is that before, if you had an unexcused absence, you would earn a 0 for any work that was due or any assessment that was administered that day. And we were observing problems that, that wasn't really equitable and it wasn't treating individuals fairly. So that part of the policy is gone. But what is new is that we're going to be tracking how many class absences you have in each of your blocks. And that means if you miss 10 classes per semester in, say, English, or 25 if it's a year-long block throughout the year, that there's a chance that you're going to lose some, if not all, of your credit. We want you in class, and being present as part of the learning community is not only going to support your achievement, but it's going to warrant us giving you credit as being a member of our learning community. So that's the primary shift, the shift away from zeros for unexcused absences, more towards accountability for just showing up and being present. Another part is new is what we're calling the planned absence academic plan. So we know that there are times where families, may take an extended weekend trip, or you go away for a holiday, and all of those things aren't going to change. But what we found is that kids and families weren't necessarily always being honest with us. And people were calling out sick when maybe they were traveling out of the state for a sports club tournament or something like that. What we want to do is create an academic plan where we incentivize you just being honest with us and telling us when you're going to miss school and why you're going to miss school. Now, these absences will still count towards the total that I just talked about, but remember, you won't be getting zeros anymore. So the goal is, if you know that you're going to miss 2 or more days of school for a family commitment, for another enrichment opportunity that you may be able to participate in outside of Hudson's High School, that's okay, but we want you to tell us, and we have a form that you're going to fill out, and you're going to meet with all your teachers and talk about what the expectations are while you're away. Teachers aren't going to be required to give you the work in advance. In fact, the teacher may determine that these are the things you're going to have to do when you get back, but the idea is to create transparency with us, to be honest with us so that we know when you're out and that you and your family can work around those absences so that you can get your work done and there's some accountability there. All right. All of that is going to be lined out in the student handbook, and I invite you to read that on our school website when it becomes available and translated. Finally, all right, we're about to launch this new attendance policy, and here we have COVID. All right, so you're going to notice a couple new things in Aspen. First, you're going to notice 2 new codes, virtually absent and virtually present. That's going to indicate when your teacher has acknowledged that you met the requirements within a block learning from home. All right. And we understand that this year has already brought some challenges. We've had some power outages. We've had some technological difficulties that you experienced with your Chromebook. Those things are going to happen. So when we look at the new policy, we're going to take into consideration that we're all learning how to do school differently, and you can meet with your counselor, with your assistant principal, or with me if you're not sure how these absences are going to impact your learning and your credit. So what does virtual attendance look like? All right, so when you get a virtually present, what does that mean that you've earned for that block? Well, when you're learning remotely, there are 3 core components to virtual attendance. We want to be able to see you. That means your camera's on. We need to be able to hear you. That means your microphone's on and you're engaged in discussion and participating. And we need to observe your engagement. All right, we need to be able to see you following along the lesson, completing that class assignment. If multiple components of those are missing, then we don't really know if you're there. We don't really know if you're sitting at your laptop doing what you're supposed to be doing, engaged in the work of the school. We need you virtually present because for many of you, that's a significant part of your work week. So if these aren't happening, you're not going to be considered present by your teacher. And finally, what does virtual engagement look like? So learning from home brings the same expectations as learning in school, meaning you got to respect that classroom. It may not be a physical classroom, it's a virtual one, but you still got to show your teachers and your students the same amount of respect. It is a privilege to be able to log into synchronous instruction. There are a lot of different models out there that other high schools are pursuing, and you have the opportunity to follow the same schedule, the same day, engaging with your teachers and peers. All right, we're not farming you out to some sort of online software to just kind of follow along and learn on your own. It is a privilege to be able to kind of log in, be present, and do school in whatever way we can in this pandemic. We want you to respect that environment. So that means the appropriate behavior and language in Google Meets, just because you're sitting at a desk at home or on your couch or wherever your learning space is, that the same rules apply. All right. So when there's a mass break or a lunch break for a block, you got to get back into that meet. No disappearing, just like you wouldn't want you disappearing in the hallways during the school day. All of these things need to remain consistent for you to be engaged and plugged into your learning.
Hello, Hudson High School. My name is Mr. McAnesby, and I am the assistant principal in charge of grades 8 and 9. Today, during our class meetings, we just want to go over some protocols. Myself and Mr. Goldberg, who will introduce himself in a minute, go over some protocols of things that we're doing here at Hudson High School that may be a little bit new. First thing we want to talk about a little bit is the bus. When you're driving the bus, we want to make sure that you are in your assigned seat. We want to make sure that you're staying socially distant. In case we need to do some contact tracing, then the bus driver will know where you were sitting and when you came on the bus and when you got off the bus. I want to make sure that you're following all the rules that you have been following for the past years that you've been on the bus. Be respectful of the bus driver. Treat the bus like it's a classroom. If the bus driver asks you to move seats for whatever reason, please do so. It's only a short ride to and from school, and we want to make sure that everyone arrives to school safely and goes home safely. Another issue I want to talk about is our cafeteria. We have some new protocols that are in our cafeteria. Again, there's an assigned seat for everyone. If you don't know where your assigned seat is because you've been sitting outside for the past few weeks, let me know. There'll be someone there on duty that will be able to let you know what table you're sitting at. Again, we need to have you in the assigned seat that you chose to sit at to make sure that, again, we're doing the contact tracing. When you come into the cafeteria, 6 feet apart. When you go into the serving area where the cafeteria workers are, only a few people in that area at a time. Again, trying to stay 6 feet apart. You've been really good the past couple of weeks as far as cleaning up. You've been excellent, actually, compared to years past. Again, like pick up your trash, throw it in the barrel when you leave. We want to just, again, make sure that you treat our custodians fairly, you treat our cafeteria workers, you're good to them, because they're really good to us in coming here and helping us get through our day. If you're sitting outside, again, we want to make sure that you are 6 feet apart. We need to get a little bit better at that than we have been the past couple of weeks. 4 students to a table. You're able to sit on the rock walls that are out there, staying in that courtyard area. If you have any questions about protocols that are going on the bus or in the cafeteria, you can see someone on duty, you can see myself, or you can see Mr. Goldberg.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. McAnesby. My name is Mr. Goldberg. I'm the new assistant principal for grades 10, 11, and 12, and I want to thank everybody for welcoming me to the Hudson High School community. It's been a wonderful experience, even though students have not been here. It's really since the first day. We're really looking forward to having you back here and seeing students bring life back to the building here. And like Mr. McAnesby was saying, describing the protocols that are new this year, certainly because of the COVID pandemic and all that we're experiencing together. When you're in the building, though, some things never change. And our student handbook describes all of those things. And my purpose here today is not to read or go through all of the particulars and the logistics and the deep dive of the handbook. You can certainly do that on your own. And I strongly encourage you to. And if you have any questions about anything in that handbook, certainly talk with myself, Mr. McAnesby, or any faculty member here at the school, and we'll get your questions answered right away. Of course, when you're in the building, it's about being an engaged and a respectful member of the Hudson High School community. Of course, you're not bringing weapons into school. You're not bringing drugs into school. You're not planning on fights here in the school. Any of these things and actions have consequences. If any of these things come across my desk, Mr. McAnesby's desk, we're going to certainly do our best to find the truth of the matter, and then certainly bring family into the conversation, and then certainly there are consequences that happen. We don't foresee any of these kinds of situations occurring this year. It goes without saying how wonderful the student body is, but certainly you need to be aware that actions do have consequences. As much as we want to recognize students for the wonderful things and the great things that are being done in the building, certainly if students are making bad decisions, there are consequences for those, and we'll be reaching out if we have to have any of those conversations. On an attendance front, whether you're in person, your virtual attendance matters, as Mr. Medeiros had described to you. Should students become chronically absent, they're accruing too many absences, too many tardies, not attending in the virtual setting as you're supposed to be, Mr. McAnesby and I will be reaching out. You'll be getting letters, so families have a sense as to how many absences those are and which courses they are in, and phone calls that we'll be following up with. And if need be, we'll be bringing families in, having meetings online, and talking about what we can do to bring you back in and re-engage you, involving guidance, involving special educators and those support service personnel that are all here together to support you being an active member and successful member of our community. So we're really looking forward to a great year. I just started, so my year with you has just begun, and I'm looking forward to a wonderful rest of the year with you and all the things that we're doing here at Hudson High. So have a great rest of the year. Thank you. Remember your masks.
Welcome, class of 2024, to your freshman year. I'm Mrs. Leonard, and I have Mrs. Stefanzo here, and today we're going to give you some information to help make your freshman year the best it can be. First thing we're going to do is do a quick review of school counselor assignments. For any of you with the last names A through K, you're going to work with me, Mrs. Leonard, this year. Students with last names beginning with letters L through PA have Mrs. Bachelor. Students with last names PE through Z will work with Mrs. Stefanzo, and our English language learners will work with Ms. Bartlett. Our offices are located down in the counseling department. We're going to talk a little bit about the role of the school counselor. Our job is really to support you in many different ways throughout your high school career, from now until you graduate. We work with you on academic and college counseling, helping you figure out which classes you should take to match your future goals, looking at some career exploration. We're there to help support you if you're struggling in classes or you're having any issues with peers or anything. And we're there to help kind of guide your communication with teachers, with your parents, and help refer you to other services if you should need any kind of support outside of school. So we can help you in those areas as well. So really, we want you to think of us as someone who's really here to help make high school go smoothly for you. And we can really help you in many different areas. Everything you say with us is confidential, with the exception of if any concerns arise while we're meeting where we're worried about your safety or someone else's safety. So if that should happen, we do need to contact someone, but we always are very open with you about that in the course of talking with you. So again, we really hope that you guys are all going to get to know us over the next few years, and that we can help support you, throughout your time at Hudson High. All right, so how do you meet with us? So it's a little bit different than last year. This year, you're going to still make an appointment on the computer, but you're not going to do that down in the counseling office. Actually, on our Hudson High School counseling website, you're going to find your counselor's name, and there's going to be a link next to their name and their picture where you can make an appointment. Okay, so once you do that, you click on it, and you fill out a quick little Google survey about what's the best time to meet, if you want a virtual meeting or an in-person meeting, and then we will send you an email back, and that will be the pass that you show your teacher to come meet with us. So it's a little different than in years past, but we're still doing them electronically, but you're going to do those outside of the counseling office. You can make those on your phone or on your Chromebook. You can also send us an email saying that you want to meet, and we can email together and figure out the best time to meet with you. So we really hope you will reach out and meet with us, because we really want to be able to help you, support you this year. And if we didn't get to know you well last year, we really want to make sure that we get to know you well this year. Okay, a little bit about graduation components, what you should know. As freshmen, you guys are starting to build your transcript. Okay, there are certain courses that you need to take every year and pass in order to move on to the next grade level. This is a change from 8th grade, so it's important for you guys to really get a good understanding of this starting with your freshman year. Okay, so on this screen, you're going to see a list of all the required courses that you must take to earn a diploma from Hudson High School. And again, these are graduation requirements. These are the minimum. This is not necessarily what a really competitive college is going to want to see. This is just what you need to earn a diploma. So you're going to see next to English, it says 4 years of English. So this is all starting with your freshman year. So you're going to take English every year of high school and math every year of high school, regardless of what level you're in. You're required to take a math course every year. So you can see next to science, it says 3 lab sciences. We like to see biology, chemistry, and physics. You are likely enrolled in biology right now, and that will then be chemistry as a sophomore, physics as a junior, and some of you may opt to take a science your senior year. But these are the 3 labs that we want to see on the transcript. Social studies, there's US World 1, 2, and 3. World language, we need 2 years of a world language for graduation. And again, these start in 9th grade. So regardless of the level you're in, we want to see 2 years on the transcript. And then you're going to take wellness every year. Okay, you're going to do wellness for a semester each year. And then at least 1 semester of maybe an art course, a technology, a business class. So that gives you an idea of the course subject distribution for your transcript. These are all the things that we want to see over the 4 years for you to earn a diploma from Hudson High School. Okay, so a little bit about earning credits. All of the courses you take have a credit value assigned to them. All of you are taking a full schedule of courses, which means you're all taking 28 credits worth of classes. 24 credits must be earned each year to progress to the next grade level. That's the average. We like to see you earn at least 24 credits. You must pass English. We need English every year. You can't double up your English classes. So as a freshman, you got to be thinking like, I need to pass my English class. I need to earn at least 24 credits. To graduate from Hudson, you need 96 minimum credits at the end of your senior year. Now, if you pass every course every year, you're going to earn 112. So you don't need to be perfect to earn a diploma. You just need to get 96 out of the 112, and you need to be able to pass all the courses that we just spoke about on the previous slide. So again, you can see each year what the benchmarks are for each year to move on. You can see next to grade 9, it has a 12 above it. For students that really struggle with their freshman year, if they pass their English, math, and a couple of electives, they may end up with 12 credits. And mathematically, if they get every single credit going forward, then they may end up being able to graduate on time. But that's definitely a really tough spot to be in. So we try to pass everything we can our freshman year to give ourselves the best chance going forward to graduate in 4 years. Okay, so credits are awarded based on your final grades, not your term grades, not your exam grades. So your credits are based on your final grade in a course. So all of your major classes, your English, your math, your science, social studies, world language, those are worth 4 credits. Most of your electives are 2 credits. There's a few exceptions, but most are 2. So you're going to earn those credits by passing the course for the year. If you get an F, which is a 59% or below, you do not earn credit for that course. Again, F is a final grade, not a term grade. Your final grade is an F. You don't earn credit, which means you're going to have to likely repeat those courses, particularly if they're any kind of major class, like an English and math, the social studies, the science. If you fail an English class, you're going to need to go to summer school to be able to move on to 10th grade. And in order to go to summer school, you have to get a final grade of at least a 50%. So if you get a 30% in English, you're not going to be allowed to go to summer school and move on. You're going to have to repeat your 9th grade year. So it's very important to really have a good understanding of how your grades are progressing throughout the year. Use Aspen to really monitor your progress and be communicating with your teachers so you understand how you're doing in the classes and what you need to do to improve. Also, your academic eligibility is required for different participation in athletics, clubs, trips. So you want to make sure that you understand where your grades are so that you're able to participate in anything. And you got to remember too, looking down the road, thinking about college, you need to earn full credit in all of your major courses for colleges to consider that course requirement met. So for example, if you pass a class, but you don't earn credit because of really poor attendance or something, the college won't consider that requirement for admission met. You would still have to retake a class. So again, credits are really important, grades are important, and the best thing you can do is really stay on top of your schoolwork and reach out to people if you're struggling at all and have questions about how you're doing, about your progress, because there's a lot of resources here to help you.
Hi everyone, it's Mrs. DeFonso, and I'm now going to talk to you about your grade point average. So the important thing to remember about your GPA is that it begins in grades 9 and goes all the way through grade 12. So each grade is given a point value, which is averaged to become your GPA. Hudson High School uses a weighted GPA for honors and advanced placement courses, and GPAs are used to determine NHS in your 11th and 12th grade year. talk a little bit about the transcripts. Here's a sample transcript, and on the left-hand side, you'll notice it begins with grade 10. This was just for purposes of demonstration today. You'll see the course, you'll see the level, academic, honors, or AP. The next thing on the far right corner is you'll see a final grade with credits awarded. This is really nice that a final grade only shows up on the transcript, because if you had a rough term 1 or term 2, you still have an opportunity to bring up your grade, and a final grade will appear in grades 9, 10, and 11. Please know, as a senior, because you may be applying to colleges in the fall, they will receive term 1 grades, so very important to do well there. On the top part, you'll see some profile information, and with that, you'll see a grade point average and based on the number of semesters. And finally, on the bottom right-hand corner, at the very bottom, right now, this particular student has earned a total of 56 credits. Again, if you pass all of your courses, you'll notice that it will say 112 credits. MCAS exams are also a part of earning a diploma in the state of Massachusetts. So in addition to earning 96 credits, you must pass MCAS, the science, which is administered in grade 9, the ELA and math, which are administered in grade 10. Please note, due to COVID, these may be pushed out or reassigned. We will always keep you posted. So you must pass all your credits and MCAS in order to receive a diploma from the state of Massachusetts. Just some helpful tips for everybody is really important. Do all of your homework and turn it in on time. Please remember that school starts at 7:30, whether you're in person or remote at this time. Definitely get to know your teachers and your school counselor, really important. Some of you asked for letters or for us to be references for jobs or for college, if that's your path for your post-secondary plan. Get to know us so we can help you pick courses that best suit your needs and interest. Exchange phone numbers with a classmate. Everyone usually has Google Classroom, so that's been really helpful to connect and find out what you need to do, even if you're out sick. Use Aspen to monitor your work in your grades. Sometimes there's mistakes in there that if you're monitoring it, we can easily fix and adjust. And always email your teacher and school counselor for extra help. We are here to help you and make this the best year ever and build a solid foundation. So thank you very much. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to your counselor. Have a good day.